welcome to a brand new episode of Coming Distractions brought to you by the Nerdpocalypse podcast. I'm your host, Jay. Okay, guys, let's talk all about the first Purge. This is the prequel to the other Purge films that have been going on. I can't believe I'm saying this, since 2013, which is just crazy. This one is starring Ilan Noel, Lex Scott Davis, and Marissa Tomei, just randomly. She's just randomly in this movie, and I was not expecting that. Also, there's a doesn't do anything about the movie, but there's just a random cameo from Designer, the rapper. He's just in it. Okay, that was odd, but I guess he's trying to get his career back. I don't know, but anyway, so this is the prequel to the Purge series. Look, I've never thought the Purge series was particularly all that exciting or interesting. I enjoy the ultra-violence of them, but I never thought they were really doing anything amazing. I thought the concept was interesting, but it kind of falls apart the more you think about it, as time goes on. The first Purge is the one, I think, that answers all of those sort of wackadoo questions about the rules of the Purge and why the hell would they do the Purge, because it doesn't really make any sense. All of those things are answered in this movie better than the other films have ever done. That being said, I really enjoyed this. I can't believe how good it really was. So the first Purge, the general premise of the Purge franchise is that one night a year, the government allows everybody to do whatever crimes they want. They're not prosecutable. You can murder, rape, kill, steal, whatever you want to do. You can do all those things for 12 hours, and then the Purge ends and everybody goes back to their life. And that keeps the violence and everybody at bay the other 364 days a year. This movie deals with, obviously, the first Purge. So it's not nationwide like the other ones are. Instead, this one, they're using it as an experiment, right? So this takes place just after the new founding fathers of America have taken over the government, and they decide to do this experiment just on Staten Island. So this doctor, Dr. May Updale, played by Marissa Tomei, she has come up with this idea that if people are allowed to get out these bad feelings and these rage and these emotions for a limited, finite amount of time, then the rest of the time they'll be fine, right? So she just has this thought experiment, basically, and they turn her thought experiment into this actual experiment on Staten Island. Now, there are a number of questions that would arise from this of why would the people of Staten Island allow this? And they play it from the perspective of, well, crime has gotten so bad, people want this violence to be curbed and everything else around the country. So they're willing, the people of New York are willing to vote on this and say, yes, we'll allow this for, this experiment. And then they coerce people on Staten Island to stay on the island by giving them $5,000 and more if they participate, right? And so that is an incentive because there's so many poor people. Now, that's the general premise, and things get started, and, the ultra-violence happens and everything else, and it, becomes a Purge movie, obviously. But what differentiates this movie from the other ones is it actually has a real message, which is that Black and brown people that are disenfranchised, that are, poor, destitute, or what have you, they are coerced into taking this $5,000 because they don't have anything. So the government is using, basically the backs of poor people to fund this experiment, so to speak, with bodies. And the government is using that for their own means and what have you. In 2013, when the original Purge movie came out, I thought this was like the dumbest thing. Like, this seems silly, and okay, I'll see it because the violence is pretty cool. Whatever. Rich people beating up on other rich people, it's fine. However, in the Trump era, this has a different feel to it. Like, it literally opens with footage of, I'm in Baltimore, like footage of the Baltimore uprising, of, people smashing cop cars and stuff. Like, they use actual historical footage to kind of build this premise around like these urban environments are so dangerous and things like that, which I thought was effective. I mean, it's exploitative, but it was effective for what they were trying to do. But in the Trump era, it does actually have a feel of like, maybe this could happen, just because like if you're paying attention to politics, you can watch some of these rights being eroded and things that are happening, right? So it has that twinge to it. And then it really does lean pretty solidly into the fears of these poor, disenfranchised black and brown people on Staten Island and what would happen if they were subjugated to this situation. And it works. It works really well. Now, Ilan Noel and Lex Scott Davis, they find themselves, they're Staten Island residents. Ilan Noel plays this guy, William, who is a big-time drug dealer. And so he's on the island there to protect his drugs and his money and, you know, and his people. Lex Scott Davis is there because she's railing against the purge. And so she's basically there to like help people into, you know, safe spaces for this 12 hours, right? So they know each other, they have a connection. And so as situations pop off, they have to kind of come together. So it works in a way that I was actually pretty blown away. I was pretty surprised. Look, honestly, the first Purge, it's a 4 out of 5. I'm as shocked as anyone to say that, but it's really a good time. Don't worry, it's not like, oh, well, it's super political, so it's not going to be the Purge movies that we know. Oh, the action and the violence are there. It's all over the place. I mean, like the third act is, I mean, there's literally the Commando style loadout scene with the guy running into danger, you know, with the wife beater on and a gun. You know, like it has those elements and it's violent as all hell, which personally, if I go to see these type of movies, that's what I want. It's fun, you know, in that same violent sort of way. The crowd cheers when, you know, the bad guys get it, and like the good guys are good, but they've got their complex ways about them. So I was actually really surprised that James DeMonaco also wrote this and wrote all the other Purge movies, because this feels like such a divergence from those other movies, like having this real hardcore message behind it and not just like, this is a crazy government experiment, but like a real social message, which I thought was really fascinating. So yeah, this is timely. Like it's a real timely film in what we're seeing politically and things like that. I can't believe I'm saying this, but the first Purge actually has a lot to say, which was surprising. So yeah, the first Purge, man, 4 out of 5. It comes out July 4th. Look, go see it. Like legitimately, go see it. It's a lot of fun. All right, guys, that's it. We will see you guys next time. You're watching the Nerdpocalypse YouTube channel. Make sure you click that button to subscribe and check out our weekly podcast where we talk about movie, TV, news, tech, and weird stories from around the internet.